Welcome back to Yondream. This is a place to slow down, let go of the day, and drift into a softer night. Tonight's story takes you on a quiet midnight train ride through moonlit fields and sleepy villages. It's a journey filled with gentle sights, kind strangers, and the calm stillness of the night. Find a comfortable place, close your eyes if you'd like, and let the rhythm of the rails carry you. The station wasn't busy that night. Only the quiet shuffle of a few travelers and the soft hum of lamps overhead. A cool breeze moved through the empty platform, carrying the scent of old wood and distant rain. The train waited on the far track, painted deep green with brass handles that gleamed under the moonlight. Its windows glowed softly, and then a curtain shifted inside, as if someone had just taken their seat. You step closer, your bag light over your shoulder. No one rushes you. Everything here feels unhurried, as if time has slowed for this one ride. Somewhere beyond the horizon, crickets chirp, their rhythm slow and steady. The conductor greets you with a nod, his voice warm but quiet. Evening. Just in time. Find yourself a window seat. The best views come after the second stop. You climb aboard. The carriage smells faintly of pine and polished wood. The seats are old but soft, the kind that remembers travelers from long ago. The corridor creaks gently under your steps. You choose a seat near the back and set your bag aside. Through the glass, the countryside stretches into the night, tall grass swaying under moonlight, the faint outline of hills, and far in the distance, a single farmhouse light glowing. It feels safe. It feels like a place you've known before, even if you haven't. The train begins to move. Slow at first, just a quiet lurch forward, the sound of wheels rolling on steel. Outside, the lamps along the station slide by one, until there's only darkness and the soft glow of stars. You let your head rest against the window. Somewhere ahead, an owl calls from the trees. Somewhere behind, the world you know drifts farther away. And here, between where you've been and where you're going, the night feels endless and kind. A voice speaks gently from the next seat. First time on the midnight train. You turn. A traveler about your age smiles faintly, a book resting open on their lap. They seem calm, like they've made this journey many times. You nod. Yes, they close their book, not with a snap, but a soft fold of pages. You'll like the route, they say. The countryside has a way of telling stories if you stay awake long enough. Though, they add, their tone easy. Most people drift off before we reach the old bridge. You smile back, unsure what they mean. The rhythm of the train is already heavy on your eyelids. Outside, the grass gives way to patches of forest. Trees arch over the tracks like dark tunnels, and now and then the moonlight spills through the leaves. The sound of the wheels is steady, a heartbeat in the rails. Somewhere in the dark, a memory stirs. A night like this long ago. The quiet hum of travel, a soft seat, a distant unknown ahead. You can't place it, but it feels warm. The other traveler watches the passing night with you. Neither of you speaks. You don't need to. The world outside feels like enough. The night carries its own story dot, and slowly, almost without meaning to, you feel yourself settling deeper into the seat. Your breath falling into rhythm with the train dot asterisk. The train sways as it takes a curve, a slow, comforting motion. The sound of the wheels blends with the quiet hum of the engine, steady, like a lullaby no one wrote, but everyone knows. The lamps inside cast a soft golden light. Shadows move gently over the carriage walls as you pass through patches of moonlight and forest. The night feels alive, but not in a hurried way, more like it's breathing. Patient and slow dot, your seatmate glances out the window and then back at you with a half smile. Have you heard about the orchard by the river? They ask softly. You shake your head. Not many people see it. But if you're awake when we pass the second bridge, look closely to the left. There's a field of old apple trees, even though No one tends them anymore. In summer, you can smell them from the train. At night, sometimes you can see the fireflies. It looks like the trees are holding tiny stars. The way they speak isn't dramatic. It's simple, almost like a secret shared with anyone willing to listen. Their words stay with you, painting pictures in your mind. Outside, the night hums. A gentle knock rattles from the corridor. The door slides open and an elderly vendor steps in, carrying a tray of tea and soft bread rolls. Her steps are slow but sure, like she's been walking these carriages for decades. "Tea?" she asks with a warm nod. Her voice is gravelly yet kind. Steam curls above the cups, carrying the faint scent of mint and something sweet you can't quite place. You accept a cup. The warmth settles into your palms instantly. The vendor smiles, and for a moment her eyes linger on you, as if she knows you needed this small kindness. She moves on, the tray rattling softly, disappearing down the corridor toward the next carriage. Your seatmate breaks the silence. "She's been here since I was a kid. I don't think anyone knows her real name. We just call her Auntie. People say she knows all the stories along the tracks. Who's traveling, who's leaving, who's coming. Home." You sip the tea. It's sweeter than you expected, almost like honey mixed with herbs. The taste lingers on your tongue, calming you even more. Outside, the train begins to slow. A faint chime rings overhead and the conductor's voice calls. Softly down the hall, almost as if he's trying not to wake anyone. "First stop, Willowford." Through the window, an old station appears, tucked between two low hills. A single lantern glows above the sign. The platform is small, made of stone worn smooth by years of quiet travelers. No one hurries off the train. No one rushes to get on. A man in a heavy coat stands waiting, holding a bouquet of wildflowers wrapped in paper. His hands are trembling, but there's a softness in his face, the kind of expression you only see when someone is waiting for someone they love. Your seatmate watches too. Neither of you says anything, but there's a quiet understanding between you. Some moments speak for themselves. The man doesn't have to wait long. From the next carriage, a woman steps down. Her coat is patched at the elbows, her bag frayed at the seams, but her face lights up like dawn when she sees him. They meet in the middle of the platform. The flowers shake in his hands as he offers them, and then they're just holding each other like the years apart never happened. The train lingers a minute longer, as if giving them time. Then, with a soft shudder, it moves again. The couple disappears behind you, their lantern glow fading into the night. The countryside opens wider now. The fields are vast and dark, dotted with clusters of trees and glimmers of water. Somewhere far off, a dog barks. The moon hangs low, large and pale over the horizon. The steady rhythm of the train makes your eyelids heavy again. The night feels deeper, yet softer, like the world outside is tucking you in. Your seatmate leans back, their book open again. "If you're still awake at the old bridge," they murmur without looking up. "Watch the river. It carries moonlight, like glass. Some people say it remembers everyone who ever crossed it." You wonder what that means, but before you can ask, the sound of the wheels slows again. Another curve ahead. Another secret the night is about to reveal. The steady hum of the wheels deepens as the train drifts into another stretch of forest. The trees outside crowd close to the tracks, their tall shapes sliding by like shadows under the moonlight. You notice how the lamps inside flicker slightly as the train dips and rises along the rails. It feels almost alive, like the journey itself has a heartbeat. Your tea has cooled, but you still hold the cup, feeling its faint warmth in your hands. The night air inside the carriage carries a trace of pine and wood smoke from far-off villages. It's the kind of scent that stays in your memory long after a trip is over. Your seatmate hasn't said much since Willowford, but they glance over. Now, eyes kind. You're still awake. That's good. The bridge isn't far. You're not sure why you feel a quiet anticipation. Maybe it's the way they spoke earlier, about how the countryside tells stories if you're willing to. Notice. Or maybe it's the hush of the night, the way everything feels like it's leading toward something quiet but special. The train begins to slow again, just slightly. Ahead, the trees break apart and the world opens. The moon reflects off something, a wide, dark shimmer that runs along the horizon. That's the river, your seatmate says, voice low. And then you see it, the old bridge dot. It's made of stone, arched and narrow, carrying the tracks over the wide water below. The lamps along the bridge are dim and far apart, leaving stretches of darkness between each soft glow. The river beneath moves slowly, catching the moonlight in broken silver patterns. The sight is quiet and vast, and somehow it feels like the kind of place where time pauses. The train hums as it rolls onto the bridge. Outside the window, the moon's reflection stretches across the water. For a moment, it feels like the train is floating through the sky rather than crossing a river dot. Your seatmate leans toward the window, pointing. There, they whisper. You follow their gaze and see them, fireflies. Not just a few, but dozens, maybe hundreds. Tiny golden lights drift over the dark water and along the edge of the orchard on the far bank. The trees stand in neat rows, their branches heavy with leaves and scattered between them. The fireflies glow like stars caught on Earth dot. The sight doesn't feel magical in a loud, dramatic way. It feels gentle, like the night is offering a small gift to anyone awake enough to notice. The train seems to slow even more as it crosses, as if it too wants to linger. You find yourself leaning closer to the glass. The orchard glows faintly, fireflies weaving in and out of the shadows. There's no one there tending the trees, just quiet nature, still alive long after people left. It used to be a family farm, your seatmate says, their voice soft with memory. I say the people who planted those trees never left. Not really. The orchard still blooms every year, even without hands to care for it. I think some places just remember love like that. You glance at them, but their gaze stays outside, on the glow of the trees. There's a weight in their words. Not heavy, but meaningful. Something about this journey, about this landscape, carries a quiet sense of belonging and memory. Even if you don't know the full story, you feel it. The train finally rolls off the bridge, and the orchard fades into the distance behind you. But the image stays in your mind. The moonlit water, the soft golden glow, the trees that still bloom. Without anyone asking them to, inside the carriage, the rhythm steadies again. A few passengers stir softly in their seats, adjusting their coats or leaning against the windows. Most are still asleep, their breaths slow and even. The world outside drifts past in near silence. Your own eyes feel heavier now. The gentle sway of the carriage, the warmth of the dim lamps, the soft hum of the wheels, it all blends together, coaxing you toward rest. Your seatmate notices and smiles faintly. Don't fight it. There's still a while before the last. Stop. The train will keep watch for you. You nod, resting your head lightly against the window. The glass feels cool against your temple. Outside, the countryside stretches on. More fields, more clusters of trees, more quiet little worlds you'll never fully know, but somehow feel connected to. And as your eyes begin to drift, the sound of the train and the night's stillness become one steady, calming song. Asterisk, somewhere in the dark, a soft chime rings again. It isn't sharp or startling, more like a bell on a distant porch, carried by the wind. The train hums on, its wheels clicking over the rails in a steady rhythm, almost like a lullaby that's been playing for years. You stir slightly, half asleep, and notice the carriage has grown even quieter. Your seatmate has closed their book and now leans against the window, eyes half shut but awake enough to notice you move. We're almost at Larkspur Station, they murmur. It's my favorite stop. You'll see why. Outside, the night grows softer. The moon has climbed higher and mist has begun to gather low over the fields, pale and glowing under starlight. Here and there, shapes appear. An old wooden fence, a cluster of willows, the outline of a small barn in the distance. The world feels hushed like it's listening. The train begins to slow again. Ahead, another tiny station appears, but unlike Willowford, Larkspur seems untouched by time. A string of paper lanterns hangs from the eaves of the station roof, swaying gently in the night breeze. Their glow is warm and golden, like pockets of firelight floating above the platform. The platform itself is small, barely big enough for 2 benches and a single postbox. You can make out the shape of a cat sitting near the edge, its tail curled neatly around its paws. Another slips soundlessly between the benches, vanishing into the shadows. The train eases to a stop. For a moment, no one moves. It feels like everyone is waiting for something, not a passenger, not an announcement, just the stillness itself. Then the door slides open and a tall man steps aboard, carrying an old violin case. He nods politely to the conductor and takes a seat at the far end of the carriage dot. As the train starts moving again, the man opens the case. He doesn't speak, doesn't glance around. He simply begins to play. The melody is quiet, almost hesitant at first, but it fills the carriage, like warm light winding through the rows of seats and mixing with the rhythm of the wheels. It's not a song you recognize. It feels older than that, like something passed down quietly, never written on paper. The kind of tune someone hums to themselves when they're alone with their thoughts. Your seatmate listens with a faint smile. A few rows ahead, a child stirs in their sleep, settling deeper into their parents' arms. Even the cats outside seem to pause as the music lingers in the air. No one claps when the song ends. There's no need. The man closes his case and leans back, as if the music wasn't meant as a performance at all, just a gift to the night. The train rolls on, the lanterns fading behind you. Outside, the mist thickens along the tracks, but not in a way that feels eerie, more like the world is tucking itself in under a blanket. The sky is scattered with stars, each one sharp and clear. Your seatmate speaks softly, almost to themselves. It's strange how some journeys feel longer than they are. Like the night stretches itself, giving you space to breathe before you return. You don't answer. You don't have to. Something in you knows what they mean. How rare it is to feel this unhurried, this at peace, even for a few hours. The conductor passes through the carriage one last time. His steps are light, and his voice carries that same gentle warmth as before. Final stop coming soon. If you're resting, don't worry. We'll wake you. He gives you a nod, like he recognizes the look on your face, that feeling of being both a traveler and an observer, awake in a night that feels larger than yourself. The train hums on. The fields give way to clusters of trees again, their branches bending overhead, and somewhere beyond, you see a faint glow, maybe the first hint of dawn or the lights of a town waiting at the journey's end. You rest your head back against the seat. Your eyelids are heavy now, the soft sway of the carriage working its quiet magic. Outside, the stars seem to blur slightly, as if the train is carrying you through a dream instead of a countryside. There's no rush. The night holds. You study, and the journey feels endless in the best way. The train hums on, carrying you deeper into the quiet night. The glow on the horizon grows stronger now, a pale wash of light spilling over the distant hills. It isn't full morning yet, just that faint hint of dawn that softens the edges of the dark. Most passengers are still asleep. A few shift slightly in their seats, wrapped in coats or blankets, their faces peaceful. The man with the violin case sits with his eyes closed, as if still hearing the melody he played. Your seatmate watches the window, their reflection faint. In the glass, the mist outside begins to thin, revealing shapes along the tracks, fences, a cluster of lanterns. The outlines of small homes, their windows glowing softly. Smoke curls from one chimney in the distance, slow, unhurried spirals rising into the pale sky. The conductor's voice carries through the carriage, as calm as ever. Final stop, Meadows End Station. Thank you for riding with us. The name feels right, Meadows End, like the train has been traveling not just across land, but across a boundary between waking and dreaming. You glance at your seatmate. They notice and give a small nod. This is where I leave you, they say, voice low, almost a whisper. There's a little path outside the station. It leads into the hills. Best sunrise you'll ever see, if you stay awake long enough. Their smile is quiet, a little knowing. It feels less like parting words and more like an invitation you don't need to accept right now. Just knowing it exists is enough. The train begins to slow. The sound of the wheels softens, their rhythm stretching out until it feels like a heartbeat, fading into the dawn. Through the window, you see the station come into view. It's simple. A wooden platform, a few benches, an old sign swinging gently in the breeze. But there's a warmth in it, the kind of welcome that doesn't need words. A handful of lamps still burn along the platform, their glow soft against the paling sky. The same two cats from Larkspur seem to have made the trip too. One sits under a bench, the other stretches lazily near the sign. The train comes to a stop. With a soft sigh, like it knows the journey has ended, your seatmate stands, slipping their book into their bag. They pause by your seat for a moment, their voice even softer now. Safe travels. Whether you keep going or turn back, nights like this always find their way into your memory. Then they step off the train and disappear down that little path toward the hills, their shape fading into the mist. You stay seated a moment longer. The world outside feels still, the air filled with that strange, gentle quiet that only comes when night gives way to morning. The conductor walks past, tipping his hat. Rest a while if you like. The return trip doesn't leave for another hour. You nod, though your eyes are already heavy. The warmth of the carriage, the steady hum now fading into silence, the first birds beginning to call faintly outside. It all feels like a lullaby reaching its last note. You lean your head against the window, letting your eyelids close. Somewhere outside, the sky brightens. Somewhere inside, you drift, not awake, not fully asleep, but resting in that peaceful place in between and the midnight train, now still at its last stop, seems to hold the quiet for you. No rush, no noise. Just the soft echo of its journey and the night that carried you here.